Yeah.
My name is Leah Katz-Hernandez. I'm from Gallaudet University here in Washington, D.C. And my question is for Bob. You started your career in politics as a volunteer for Bobby Kennedy. How did it affect you as a young person when he was killed? And did it impact you in terms of your resolve, or was it disillusioning in terms of America's ability to come together?
That's a good question. You know, I was just a kid when I was 11 years old and Jack Kennedy was killed. And I was sad by that, but I didn't really feel it as much as I felt about Bobby. I learned of Bobby's death in California that night. I was a volunteer who was in the back of the hotel ballroom trying to make sure people got out of the room safely because it was overcrowded. And we had great anticipation that we were going to go on and win the next primary and win the nomination. When I heard when I heard what happened, when I heard the shots, you could hear them blowing. I thought they were firecrackers. You know, it was my hero was. I went to the hospital and stood outside. He lived, you know, for a day and a half, and I stood outside the hospital and couldn't believe in a short period of time we'd lost Jack Kennedy, Dr. King, and Bobby Kennedy. All of them were heroes of mine. And I think in the end, after I got through the anger of it, I think it probably was, to answer your question, gave me more resolve to carry on the kind of thing, see what I could do to, in my small way, to do what Bobby Kennedy would have done. I always put that up as a marker. I asked myself, on any given situation, what is it that Bobby would have done? Bobby did not start out as my kind of politician. He was pretty conservative in a lot of ways, but he came around. He understood as a richer person. When he went to Appalachia, he understood the horrors of poverty. He, more than anybody else, expressed that with eloquence. In fact, the night that Dr. King was killed, the day that Dr. King was killed, Bobby was scheduled to give a speech in Indiana to a black audience. And the security people told Bobby not to go. They were worried that the blacks would respond negatively, and the black community had not heard this at this point. Bobby decided he was going to go in any event. He stood on the back of the flatbed truck. I still have a picture of him. And there were a couple thousand blacks in the audience, and he announced that Dr. King had been killed. Here's a white guy, rich guy from Massachusetts announcing it. You know what he did? He quoted Greek poetry. Only he could do that. And he asked them in his own way, because he had lost his brother. And he said, I know how hard this is for everybody, but please don't react here in a violent way. But pray, go home, and try to find some sense of mission of all this. So I think, in a way, the deaths of Bobby Kennedy, Jack Kennedy, and Dr. Martin Luther King probably affords a whole generation of us to be involved in politics and in a good way. So I thank them all.
Good question. Yes, ma'am. Tell us who you are and where you're from.
Hi,